So it's Wednesday, the second last week of September, and I have 14 buckets of flowers to cut for a wedding. We had a frost last week, which didn't kill anything, but there's a sort of feeling of being knocked back, a little slowing down going on. The nights are cool, the days are shorter, sunny day to day. We've had some nice sunshine, but it is not high summer. And so I thought you might like to come along and see the kinds of things that you might get from a DIY wedding florist supplier like me for the end of September. But also how we kind of think around weather events. You know, we had this little frost, but it's been sunny, thank you. But it could have been very wet. It could have been, as a flower farmer, I book these flowers in late winter, and my customers trusting me to supply, and I'm going to supply. But I'm careful not to promise so many stems of this or that. I'm promising a look, and my client would like, it's a farm wedding. They're looking for, very relaxed, a little bit wild, hairy looking. So a bit dry, a bit grassy. But also we need some weight, so the dahlias, the last of the roses, all of that. So I thought you might like to come cutting with me, and we'll see what we can get together for 14 buckets of flowers. It is 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's been a really lovely sunny day, but the temperature drops quite quickly, and I've got to go give a talk at a nearby village hall at 7, by which time it will be really getting dark. So I'm going to fill my buckets and be all ready to go and cut as much as I can between about 5:30 and 6:30. I'm just going to make a start, and then I'll cut the rest tomorrow morning before it gets too hot for the client to pick up on Friday. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks we give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. And the links for coffee buying and club membership are in the blurbs to all my clips. Club members get exclusive content. Generally, I publish 24 hours in advance for clubbers, and no ads. And they get the Thursday live at 5s. See you tomorrow, clubbers. So it's kind of late afternoon, and I'm going to go up and start with foliage. So it's a 14 bucket order, and I'm going to sort of go for thirds. Third big flowers, third foliage, and third filler. Sort of. It's not an exact science. And at this time of year, there are lovely extras like crab apples on the bough and stuff to give it seasonal definition, if you like. But we'll start with the foliage, and we'll see how much I can get cut before I have to go and give a talk. What I like about cutting up here in the evening is, while the sun is still on the cut flower patch, in the shade here where I can park my trolley, it's already cooler. So when I've cut them into my bucket, they won't be sitting in the sun getting hot. Grasses are lovely for a country feel. The Veronicastrum seed heads are stunning. Long, slim stems of sedum are good, but I'll be careful to make room for me and the bees. And look how good these two different coloured physocarpus are together. So lots of lovely amaranth. And then I'm going to cut all of the remaining zinnias for this do. And I do have still actually the cosmos in here. This is really filling up with spring 2025, but I'll have the rest of that cosmos and the levatera, just a little touch of it. as I cut this, it's going to look a little bit bitty as I cut it because the colours are very all over the place. But I have a theory, and I've yet to be disproved, that so long as flowers are growing at the same time of year, they work well with each other. What doesn't work is when you try and put sunflowers with tulips, for example. Then there's a real clash of, there's something just doesn't work. And it may be, in our heads, we think that can't be right. But if flowers are flowering together in a garden, even if they are blush pink on one side and flat purple on the other, they will work together. Believe me, I'll show you when I've cut it all. You see what I mean about the feel of the weather changing and the wind. Look at the trees. They're just sort of resettling. They too, it's as though the trees are sniffing the wind as well. Look, no colour plan for this event. I'm just cutting the garden as it comes. You see? Seen worse. And hello dahlias. Shall we cut you all, every single one of you? So the lovely bride has got 75 dahlias, and now I'm cutting a bit of detail for her. This Chinese forget-me-not sowed itself, having flowered in the spring, so it's come back. Right, there we have 9 buckets, one more, and that's a 10 bucket wedding. It's very, very pretty and a really great way to have affordable wedding flowers that you can arrange yourselves. You can get plenty to mix in, lots to play with, good colour, just cutting the garden at the end of the summer. So I'm up here just for a few details, including I'm going to rootle around in the hydrangeas and see what I can find. Look, I love this. So I've been cutting these hydrangeas really quite hard, and you can see how the interior buds are all popping. And how's that for lovely detail for a September wedding? I'm going to have these. I'll just work my way through and get a nice mix of hydrangeas for her. And last but not least, let's give her some crab apples. Just a few, just to finish things off with. She might end up just dribbling them down the tables, scattering them down the tables like you might with confetti or rose petals or something. They look really, really great as a kind of table scatter. Right, there we are. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. 10 buckets, all ready for the client to collect. And there's a nice little autumn wedding in the making. And if you're thinking of being married in 2025, do think about ordering DIY wedding flowers. If you feel you have a creative possibility in you, and you've got good friends and family and time, if you don't, then for goodness sake, ask a good florist to work with you. But if you feel the creative juices flowing, or you're inspired by seeing the kinds of material you can get from somebody like me, and you could make your own, it's certainly worth thinking about. So we obviously are based in southeast Somerset. So the weddings that we cut for are mostly, we might go as far as Frome, Bruton, Castle Carey, Wincanton, Sherborne, this little North Dorset, West Wiltshire, southeast Somerset. That's our patch. We work with lots of local venues like North Cadbury Court, Sparkford Hall, and most of our material goes to private houses where people get married in the village church and then they have a reception in the garden. As with this is a farm wedding. If you're further away from us, then do look at our affiliates page on our website, where we have a list of like-minded growers in the UK. Maybe we'll expand the list, I don't know. But we have a list of like-minded growers who work with the similar ethos to us and who are very happy to supply this kind of mixed bucket for weddings for you so that your wedding can be something you can be really, really involved with. And the photographs on your mantelpiece in 50 years' time will be full of flowers that you created, grown nearby. Nice, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to go and have some breakfast. My client can arrive when she's ready, all set, and then we get on with the day. I'll see you later. Bye.